Napoleon Total War, Russia, Part 5. Continuing where we left off, still playing basically everything on auto-resolve, and playing as Russia, as I said. As you can tell from the map, as the Russians were doing fairly well, here we're driving against the Portuguese. We need to drive them from the field and finish them off. We've taken Portugal. They only exist now in Aquitaine, but we need to finish them off in order to take the Portuguese out of the game. Otherwise, they're going to continue to be a thorn in our side. Other things of note, a lot of the beginning of this game is going to be positional moving because a lot of my armies are damaged at the start of this, so I really can't afford to make any major attacks. So there's going to be a lot of healing done, moving armies around to position them for the next attack. I do have that army that's still stranded, so we're going to get a boat and get them off of there. They got stranded there, if you remember, when I took Spain out of the game. Now we need to get them off of there and back to the mainland so we can use that army against whoever it is. The French, the Prussians, the English, whoever. Also continuing with the same philosophy of trying to make sure that every smaller country like Baden-Württemberg, the Netherlands, whoever it is, continues to exist. I don't have a reason to take them out of the game at this point. So I'm basically keeping them in the game and just trying to trade with as many of them as possible because I use those as buffers against the French. I have two armies up here in the what would be considered Flanders, Brussels, and I typically use those two armies to attack the French on different occasions to just try and keep the French as weak as possible. For those of you who watched the last episode, you know I basically went through most of the countries that were smaller and basically liberated them from French occupation. So basically what I do now is I attack French provinces and I basically loot them, and occasionally I keep one. I keep one if it's in my benefit to keep it. Otherwise, I loot it for the money to build up infrastructure and resources back in, we'll call it the Far East, Russia, Turkey, Greece, provinces like that. The reason I do those first is those are the hardest for any country to reach on the board. So it's in my best interest to do those because those are the safest. Now this is going to be me making a run against the Portuguese here. Once again, everything on auto-resolve. Sending the army. Portuguese army is not as good as it used to be when it was in Portugal. Not as many chevrons on the actual units themselves. Now we'll finish them off now that we got the reserves here. In our benefit, finish them off. Good. Peacefully occupy that. Now we control Portugal, Spain, the two provinces in, no, the three provinces in southern France. So we're actually doing fairly good. Armies landed. We'll move them around at some point here. The French took Pas d'Arc again. Seems like every time I take it, they send an army down and they come and take it back. But I have the army now. Move that army forward and we'll do our best to finish them off. Now, who's in here? They don't have a lot, no. So we'll just auto-resolve that. Repair this. And we're good again. Where are we there? Okay, that's over there in northern Spain. Bring some additional troops forward. Those troops came from Madrid, if you're wondering where those came from. Okay, now what do we want to do here? We have the army. You can tell from looking at the chevrons, there are like a lot of 3s, some 4s. Okay, attacking another French province here. Captured that one. That's the other province, and then what I would consider southern France. Now we've taken that. So we basically have a bunch of armies in southern France that we can now decide to potentially move north to actually take and keep Paris, if that's what we decide to do. The armies that are here, though, we're going to send them to the east first and eliminate the French presence there. Why would I do that first? Because I don't want to take Paris and have the French come and take it back from me. I'm also not sure where Napoleon is right now. And the AI puts a lot of stock into Napoleon in terms of his battlefield ability and his ability to move troops around and reposition. Just eliminate those French. Another good solid army. Probably should heal now before we push the battle forward. And we'll do that, and then we'll make a run against the French. Probably an Alsace-Lorraine. Okay, what else can we show you we're going to do next? We have a couple of armies. That's the same place, Alsace-Lorraine. We're going to make a run against the French now. And everything I'm showing you is a very high level, just to give you an idea what you should and shouldn't do from a overall high level battlefield command. Probably going to have to siege this one. Nope. We took it. We will peacefully occupy that one because that's far enough away from any actual French. And the only other thing I can't tell you is, like all the countries I've liberated, the smaller ones, in order to trade with them, you need to have a Russian province next to them. Otherwise, you cannot trade with them. So having that there is going to help me a little bit. Now we got a bunch still. Got some more French here. Baden-Württemberg. I took that before. I want to say once, if not twice. And now I have to take it again. One other thing I can tell you is if you don't keep your armies together as you move forward, the French will come out of the city and attack your lead army if it's unsupported. This one, what are we going to do? Looks like I think I'll continue to siege it. There go the French again. What are they attacking? Oh. Breslau, Silesia. Really don't have a choice. Okay, they took that. That's getting pretty close to the Russian frontier again. We're going to have to do something about that. Yeah, I really can't stop that from happening. The French in Berlin, I got to be really careful of that because I know Berlin can create rockets. Paris can create rockets. London can create rockets. Moscow and Vienna can create rockets. Game also puts a lot of stock into armies that have rockets. This is the army I've previously created in Moscow. I'm slowly moving it forward because I didn't have any armies once again on my western frontier of Russia. So I made that and I'm moving it forward to support everything else that's going on. Okay. Do a battle deployment. Just auto resolve. Keep it. Okay, let's fix that. Okay, now from another high level perspective, if you look at the game map, you can see that the French are basically where Prussia used to be, and in France they also have Corsica as a province still. So there's a couple of things that still need to be worked through, which I will work through. So, this is one of the other French provinces, Pas d'Oie still. I'm gonna have to do something about them. I don't have a general. Why did I do that? I'm just gonna have to siege them. General them up. Yes. Send support. Okay. Too many French there to attack. At least with one stack. Taking a couple stacks once again. What should we do? 2 stacks is probably enough to take Paris and keep it. But I have 2 stacks to the northeast of Paris, and I have 2 stacks. Oh. Well, I have conceptually 2 stacks to the southwest of Paris also. But one of those I have to reposition to fend off another threat. So here we go. He's got 1 army there. And he has conceptually 2 armies. 2 French armies can beat 3 Russian armies if Napoleon is there. Ah, there's Napoleon. Napoleon is in southern France. Okay. So that means that if I wanted to, I could attack Paris with the 3 Russian armies and take it. I lost Pas d'Oie. Napoleon took that. This other Russian army that I have here is going to come around. And we're going to have to probably bring up reserves because it's Napoleon once again. Let's see what else we got. We're making an army in Venice because we need troops there. Some of those we're going to reposition up into Olmütz or in that general area.